Hello, my name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel and happy spooky season. This is a home designed for every occult in The Sims 4 to start this spooky season off. I love doing homes based off of the occults during the month of October. I've kind of made it a tradition on my YouTube channel, and I did just create a playlist of all of these spooky builds. So once you're done watching this video, you can go check out that playlist. This home in particular is designed for a vampire, werewolves, a witch, and a ghost. And I wanted to do a home where it's like they all gather, they're all trying to live in one as peaceful as they can be. So first I'm starting off in the kitchen of the home. I was going to make it on the dining room area, but then I realized it's diagonal walls in that area, and so I didn't want to have a diagonal wall kitchen. If you're not familiar with building in The Sims, that is very hard to do kitchens in a diagonal form. So, speaking of the diagonal room, we are now entering this area. So, I didn't realize until I was finishing that I might have made this building a little too big for this home. There is lot of space for your Sims to interact and get some hobbies, get some interests, get some of those skills building up. But I kind of nerfed that opportunity, and I have a lot of seating areas in this home. So we are just going to be adding a lot of different chairs. I wanted each occult to have a chair for them to sit in, and I know that vampires don't have need to eat food, but I wanted to still have a chair. Maybe this is their family meetings or their group gathering spot, not just a dining room. And so now we're going to be adding curtains. I wanted to keep this build very pack limited with using the spooky stuff and items that came with the different occults that we have in the Sims. So there is life and death, vampires, werewolves, and realm of magic in this home. And now we're just going to be adding some nice china or dishes on into the not living room, that's the dining room. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick. I'm trying to get over it, but as I'm talking, I'm distracting myself by how sick I sound to myself. So, apologies if you can also hear this stuffiness coming from my mouth. So, we are just going to be adding some different scuffs onto the wall. I wanted this home to have a slight abandoned feel to it, and so I put scuffs here and there. I was imagining some of these areas be a little bit more well maintained based off of the resident of the room, and so now we're making a little office slash skill building area. I realized when I was editing this video is I had an opportunity to make this room or this area into a grand library, and I did not take that. So if I was to redo anything in this build, it would be to make this area into a library. I do have a bookshelf in this area, but to make a full on home library, I feel like would have been a good item or good use of this space. And so now we are just going to be adding a rug underneath the table with the computer and heading into the bathroom. This is a 2 bathroom home, and it is 4 bedrooms total. Realizing I probably should have said that at the beginning of the video. So this bathroom is shared by 3 out of the 4 occults, and then the vampire has their own private bathroom. And I did that because most of these items are from the vampire pack. And I know I could have used items from the Realm of Magic pack, but this is a large bathroom and I wanted to have a shower tub combo in this space. So the reason why the vampire gets their own private bathroom is because I was imagining that the vampire would feel a little bit weird sharing a bathroom with the other occults, especially the werewolf twins, and I'll hear more about those werewolf twins when we get into their space, but I wanted to keep this like shabby looking curtain throughout this main level of the home, and now we're just going to be making another little seating area and trying to find some decorations to put in this main area, this main like entrance area, and I just kind of go with a seating area. I'm using items from the realm of magic in this area, and since it's like they have a nice big dining room to the left of the home, I didn't want to add another like say breakfast nook area, and so I added a cute little dining area, nice little like conversational area, and now we're going to be adding a wizard battle station. I don't know the proper name, but it's like the area where wizards and or witches can duel each other. So we are just going to be adding some radiators into the different areas, and now we are on the second level of the home. There are 4 total levels from the ground level to the top level. I don't have any basements in this lot. I do realize I don't do basements a lot. I feel like I need to have like a basement home challenge, if that makes any sort of sense. And so we are just going to be working on this like living space up here, and I realized I should probably explain why I decided to go with vampires, werewolves, spellcasters, and a ghost in this home instead of like fairies and mermaids. I wanted to go for these 4 because they seem more Halloweeny, they seem more like spooky than a mermaid and a fairy. I also currently do not own the fairy expansion pack, and so I'm still waiting on that, but I do feel like it would be a very fun addition to add to this space, and so I also didn't want to add a swimming pool area into this lot, and so that's why mermaids aren't in this home. I know like there can obviously be like dark fairies and there can obviously be dark mermaids, but I wanted to like keep this pretty simple with just using bolts that I have and that don't need a swimming pool to stay hydrated. And now we're just going to be adding a little chest area to the window. And you might be realizing, I don't know if I said this before, but this is a dollhouse. I was inspired by the Monster High dollhouses. I also did another dollhouse build, and I realized that this would be kind of fun to do a dollhouse for the different occults in this Sims world. And so we are just going to be now in the vampires layer. I'm going to be giving them a coffin, going to be giving them a fireplace. I wanted to pack as many items from the vampire pack in this room as I could, and so we are just going to be adding a pipe organ, going to be adding this little like cabinet. I do put that cabinet into the bathroom along with this little like book stand because I was thinking that the Sims could be having like a book cozy reading session, and then the oils and stuff from the cabinet could be like bath bomb stuff, and so that was my short explanation of why there are like office equipment in the bathroom. We're just going to be adding some curtains into this bedroom to block out the light. Never mind that there is a full glass wall on the one side of the house. The fun thing I did in these bedrooms is each area has access to the like ground level, so like the spellcaster can practice your magic on that little stand. The werewolves can go swinging. That's not technically a werewolf only activity, but I wanted each bedroom to have access to the courtyard area, I'm gonna call it, without having to like go out and around the lot. And it's back to the build. I wanted to not add a single mirror into this bedroom area because vampires don't need mirrors because they can't see their reflection. Even though this pack did come with a mirror, I decided not to use it. Actually, it came with two mirrors. There was like the one floor length one, and then like the one that like goes on the wall. But I decided to use none of them, and now we are in the ghost bedroom. And I tried to make this obviously clear that this bedroom is for a ghost. So hopefully, if you're just like walking in the room while this video is going, you're like, that is definitely a room for a ghost. And so we're just going to be adding the swing set and going to be adding a few different backyard items. I wanted to add a few gravestones back here and going to be adding a nice little bird statue. Honestly, the gravestone part, I'm not that big of a fan of when it comes to Halloween. I'm more of like a cute Halloween girl. Me and my mom were talking about this earlier, where it's just like we like seeing the kids like dressed up as like princesses or their favorite superheroes, but we're not really a big fan of the guts and the gore when it comes to Halloween. And so we are just going to be adding a fireplace into this ghost bedroom. I'm amazed at how many of these occult packs come with fireplaces, and so I tried to illustrate that from the outside by having four different chimneys coming from the roof. And I wanted this ghost bedroom to give somewhat of like an abandoned attic vibes, even though this room is not on the fourth floor. I wanted it to still kind of like give like abandoned house attic vibes. So I wanted to have like a lot of different just like stuff everywhere. I tried to just like have a lot of kind of somewhat mismatched materials and like chests here and there. I do come back later in the video to replace these chairs with the chairs and couch from the spooky gay stuff because they have a ghost on them. And like I said, I was trying to make this very, very clear that this bedroom is for a ghost. And now we are going to be adding just a lot of different items from the life and death pack and going to be adding these chests and wanting to again illustrate that this area is for a ghost, so I add these cool like lights that are ghosts. And I don't do that now, but I do come back to do that. And now we're going to be kind of moving on. I think I do come back to that room, and so here we are just going to be adding a lot more different ghost related items, a few different scratches on the wall. But now we are on the third level and going to be starting off with the werewolf bedroom. And I said earlier that I didn't want to say it now, but here we go. So the werewolf bedroom, I originally just designed for one sim, but then I realized should take advantage of this vertical space I have, and so I decided to add bunk beds into this room. So if you stay into my screenshots, you'll see that there is a bunk. And the reason why I decided to make these werewolf twins is because I added a picture from the Life and Death pack where there's like two werewolves howling at the moon, and I just thought that would be kind of fun to like pretend that those werewolves in the picture are the werewolves staying in this home. And the fun thing about the third floor of these rooms, they have private balconies, so the werewolves can like practice some gardening skills, do some painting, just kind of like be outside, howl at the moon maybe. But I didn't want to have the vampire have like balcony space because they probably wouldn't need it as much as the werewolves, since if the vampires come out in the day, then they burn. So we are just going to be adding a couch. I realized I should have like mixed and matched some items from the packs, but I also wanted to help you out if you're looking into getting one of these packs or more of these packs, that it's like, okay, this is definitely all the items I could use in a werewolf build. Or okay, these are definitely items I could use in a vampires build. So we are just going to be working on this like hallway in between space between the werewolf bedroom and the spellcaster's bedroom, but I did see some items I forgot I was pre-planning on using in the ghost bedroom. But so now we're back to the hallway area. I wanted to have like another just kind of like eating area, another like living area, because I was thinking it would be fun to like have another living area up here if like the Sims can't decide on a movie night, so they just like, okay, you watch your movie and I'll watch my movie, and then everything's happy-go-lucky basically. So we are just going to be adding a bookshelf over here and going to be adding this cool little werewolves painting project, I'll call it. And I wanted to add the werewolves poster or bookcase on the spellcaster side because it looked like there's scrolls, there's books. I was imagining that would be more of like spell books, but maybe there are a few werewolf books in there, so it's kind of like a community area for that bookshelf, I guess. And so now we are in the fourth floor. This is the spellcaster's layer where they cast their spells, they work on their potions, and then back on the third level is their bedroom area. I, of course, had to add the special spellcaster fireplace, and so the fourth level is just mostly for work, say, and like practicing magic, and then like the first floor or the first level of the spellcaster area is for sleeping, wellness, all of the good things. But I do also add a like witch's cauldron onto the balcony in this space because I figured that one, there could be more than one sim living in the space, or maybe some potions only work when direct moonlight, and so we're just going to be finishing up this video. So we're just going to be adding some posters, going to be adding some like spell ingredient to the layer area. Now we're on the balcony area and going to be adding a telescope, going to be adding another witch's cauldron. This area is pretty simple in the grand scale of all these items, and so we are just going to be adding that cauldron and going to be adding some planter boxes to this balcony. So we are getting close to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It does mean so much to me. And if you have any build suggestions for me, make sure to leave them down in the comments. I post new videos every single Tuesday, and I hope to see you all next week for another video. Bye!